inside the 60 Minutes interview with whistleblower Siobhan O'Connor. Guy, how did you find her and convince her to do this interview?
I was interested in getting our hands on the documents that had been leaked from the secret archive.
This week, 60 Minutes revealed that Siobhan O'Connor is the one who leaked those documents from inside the Catholic Diocese of Buffalo. Evidence that the bishop allowed priests accused of sexual abuse to stay on the job. The team that reported the story, Bill Whitaker and producer Guy Campanile, first had to get her to go on camera.
I met with Siobhan O'Connor for about an hour, and she had everything very organized. These are hundreds of pages from personnel files, church memos, emails, and she offered to give them to 60 Minutes to use on the broadcast.
She offered?
She offered all of them. And she really spent a lot of time walking me through everything. And I stopped her after about 45 minutes and said, "How far do you want to take this?" And she said, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "Well, you can keep explaining this to me, or you can come on 60 Minutes and explain it yourself."
And she said?
She said yes. Then I said, "But before you say yes, for sure, you need to think about what that means, because your life is going to change." So I encouraged her to spend a couple of days thinking about it. And she said, "Okay." She said, "It sounds like, Guy, you're trying to talk me out of doing this." And I'm like, "Well, I'm trying to make sure that you go all the way with this, because it's not going to work in an interview for 60 Minutes, right, Bill, if someone is holding back."
Mm-mm.
Was she holding back at all in this interview?
Not at all. She gave from the heart. I have talked to a number of whistleblowers, but I have never met one for whom it was so painful to reveal the information. So why are you doing this?
The reality of what I saw really left me with no other option, because at the end of my life, I'm not going to answer to Bishop Malone. I'm going to answer to God.
And I think one of the reasons why she ultimately said yes is because her faith is so strong. She sees things as almost providential. Remember she said that to you? That things happen almost by design.
This was like a calling from God?
A calling from God, and frankly, she was mad as hell. She told us that.
She was, yeah.
There's
At what she was seeing, at what she saw going on. She said at one point, she almost wanted to burn the place down. That's pretty strong language.
It is. And just as my name is all Irish, I have an all Irish temperament. So I do have a fiery temper, and injustice has always been something that I could just not abide by.
For the viewer, this story, church leaders protecting priests accused of sexual abuse, we've seen this before in other places. Did reporting this story help you understand why this keeps happening?
No, seriously. We have been living through this for almost 20 years. Some of the incidents that we were talking about in Buffalo happened just a year or two ago. So you're scratching your head wondering, how is it that 20 years, or almost 20 years after the first incident blew up, we're going through this again?
We as in all of us.
We as in all of us, all Americans, we're watching this. I mean, how is it that this is still happening?
The thing you have to remember is that the church is made of people, but the ones in charge are priests, and priests are so good at keeping secrets, so it really depends on the laity, people like Siobhan, to come forward with these kind of secrets.
Right. Confession, you have to be good at keeping people's secrets.
Which is the worst possible thing if you're trying to create an atmosphere of trust.
Yeah. You would think, especially in the case of Bishop Malone, he was the auxiliary bishop back in Boston, the first case to blow up. He was there. He saw how it was mishandled in Boston.
And here's what's really frustrating. We have questions, like real questions. And we want to understand what you're asking. So we wanted to speak with the bishop. And we spent a month asking for an interview. And he wouldn't do it.
We went to a mass and waited for the mass to end and stood outside the church and waited for more than an hour.
More than an hour.
Never came out?
Never came out.
The intention wasn't to ambush the guy. It was just to ask, hey,
can we sit and talk to you?
we're here.
He has a motto. What was the motto?
The bishop's motto, every bishop has a motto, and his is live the truth in love.
Live the truth in love, the words he lives by. And Siobhan O'Connor will tell you that that is not what she saw at all. She knows she's going to get a lot of pushback. She knows she's going to get a lot of criticism. She knows the bishop is going to be angry. I think I'd be a nervous wreck, but she seemed to be the calm in the middle of this storm.